I welcome you with all my heart, all my soul, all my mind, all my spirit. I love you all. The chant sent me into a delightful bliss state. My whole body's tingling. My fingers are quivering. I feel joy up and down inside my body, in my sense of presence. Do you feel it, Ansar? Today I'm going to try to cover the totality of the teachings from beginning to end, including a guided meditation, in order to have sort of an introductory tape for the website and for my blog. I've just taken up video editing. I'm not so good at it, but I'm learning fast. It's kind of enjoyable. But let's start from the top. There are many, many, many spiritual paths. And hardly any have anything in common with each other. The end state of Krishnamurti has nothing to do with the end state of Romana Maharshi. The end state of Nisargadatta grew away from what Romana Maharshi said and is different from Romana Maharshi. Osho is different from Sufis. The Sufis are different from the Kundalini people. The Kundalini people are different from the Bhakti people and the neo-Advaitans. The Advaitans, the Sufis, the Christians, and the Hindus are alike, and they accept the existence of a personal self that's attached to God, so-called Atman in Hindu mythology. The playful human and tragic human self, combined with God, the divine, within oneself, as one thing, the self. Zen, Tibetan Buddhism, Buddhism in general, does not acknowledge the existence of a self. They talk about beingness, nowness, emptiness, the void, the witness, the absolute, but almost nothing about the self, if any of them talk about the self. So if you practice many different traditions, thinking they all go to the same place, you're wrong and you're wasting a lot of time. I talk about one thing only, self-realization. Self-realization as Romana talks about it, and as Nisargadatta talks about it, and as Robert talks about it. Now that's not a contradiction. Nisargadatta changed his tune later. I'm talking about the early Nisargadatta. But if you're going to make progress, it depends on where you want to go. Do you want self-realization? Or do you want the kind of realization where you go beyond consciousness into the absolute and are forever beyond humankind? Or do you want the self-realization of the manifest self, of having Shakti screaming through you aloud, wanting to manifest through you, wanting to love the world, wanting to share with the world your enlightenment, wanting to share your joy and pass it on to others? Which do you want? And that's, you got to be sure of where you're going. If you want Zen, you're going to find peace, you're going to find emptiness, you're going to find the beingness in the emptiness, you're going to find the void, and it's very calming, but the emotions will disappear. Thoughts will disappear, or else become sort of meaningless. Or do you want the personal self back, like Turiya talks about? The newest star on our horizon, Turiya, who is exploding into herself, like Lila did, and like Janet did, and like Dia did, regaining her humanity. I'm sure most of you to a degree too, but I don't know you guys that well. She shouts out what's happening to her, so I always know where she's going and what she's doing. So, what is self-realization like? Can you imagine when you were young, when you were 20, and you were doing a lot of exercising, if any of you did, and you'd run for 3 miles, and you'd come back filled with energy, brimming with energy, and feeling totally alive and totally well? That's how it is all the time. A constant sense of having a lot of energy, a lot of passion for life, a sense of having good health, a sense of being very grounded in the here and now with not much thinking. You're just filled with yourself and your sense of your body being well, filled with energy and joy, totally alive. And what's it like to come to you when you've been in nothingness for a long period of time? If you've been in nothingness and emptiness for a long period of time, and you're used to the peacefulness and the quietness of nothingness, of the void, it's like a whirlwind coming from your core, coming from your hara, the lower abdomen, filled with light and energy, expanding upwards into your heart, through your heart, into your upper body, into your head, going above your head, going out through your hands as tremendous amounts of energy, vitality, like you were 12 again or 14, running, having this enormous energy. And it's arising in you, enlivening you, making you come alive, feeling everything, feeling every emotion exquisitely, feeling every sense exquisitely, and at the same time, recognizing that which is feeling is not the body. It's the self. It's consciousness. It's consciousness that is feeling what the body is feeling and making it its own. And you misidentify yourself with the body, but actually your identification is truly with consciousness, because that's all that you are. That's what separates you from being a rock. That's what separates your sentient body, the meatball, so to speak, the sentient meatball that is you, the food body, from being no more aware or alive than a rock. When your body dies, once again it'll be like a rock, insentient. But you as consciousness are already everywhere. Hi. Are you looking? Okay. You as consciousness are immortal. Not in the sense that you as a person exist forever, but in the sense that consciousness is everywhere where sentience is, in every human body, in every butterfly, in every elephant, in every snake, in every insect. Consciousness is there in one state or another. Sleep, waking, self-conscious or not self-conscious, self-aware or not self-aware. In that sense, you, as an individual, return to that universal consciousness, freed of the limitations of your body and the perceptions of your body. But you're also dead. The body's dead. You as an individual don't continue. You as universal consciousness continues forever. And that's what self-realization brings. The arising of the energy in you. That is not you because it's so big. It's the energy of the universe, the energy of consciousness, Shakti, which is shaking you alive, giving you vitality, giving you energy, giving you happiness, giving you joy, giving you bliss, giving you knowledge like you never had it before. The essence of knowledge, knowingness without knowing any object, having that all the time. You know who you are. And you just have a sense of knowingness. There's no longer any searching. There's no longer any doubts. You know. You know. You are complete in your knowing. The flip side of the knowingness is love. Not loving any particular object, but pure love inside of you, which is a state within you. A love without any object, although an object can elicit it at any time. Somebody could step in front of you and that love will leap out towards them as an object. But the love is actually part of you, your state. And when you love another, you can find that state arising within you. So this energy arises within you, the self, Shakti. It overpowers you. It fills you with electricity. It fills you with energy like you've never had before. And at the same time, there's a purity to it, the utter purity of it. It feels like a descending grace, a descending happiness, a descending total devotion, a descending submission to God, being utterly humble, the descent of grace, while the self thrusts up from within inside. Inside, the Sadguru comes up and meets the external God. And you are the witness of the whole thing. You are the self, seeing the self. It's called reflexive self-consciousness. You're not talking about two selves. You're talking about one self that finally sees itself for what it is and feels itself for what it is. And always there's a burning and a tingling in you. And yet there's a rest. You can feel it. You can feel your body alive with electricity, with love, with energy. That sense of presence in you that feels, not the body, but it accepts and feels the body. That sense of presence is more you than the body ever will be. That sense of presence grows because you concentrate on the I am. That sense of presence is the I am all grown up. And you become it, an energetic presence, the subtle body. And then more, you become deeper, the causal body, the state of unknowing. And then later on, you become Turiya, which is happiness itself. What Jan Esman calls the love bliss body, what Romana calls Satchitananda or Turiya. Others call it the manifest self versus the unmanifest self, which we won't talk about. Otherwise, this is called Atman, which is the combination of human and divine in one self, that is, self-aware. It's a completion. Self-seeking self becomes aware of oneself and then identifies with oneself. And you're complete. Perfect knowingness. Perfect love, perfect self-confidence, and abounding energy, along with grace. There are states beyond this, but this is the beginning, the real beginning of spiritual life. Now, how do we get there? Well, Dee and I call this trip Devotional Advaita, as opposed to the Advaita of old, which didn't have that much devotion, but was based on self-recognition through various techniques like self-enquiry. But it's more a task of self-abiding, and let's talk about this for a while. First of all, on my website, wearesentience.com, there are pages called Nisargadatta and are called resources. Go to those pages and download the Nisargadatta Gita. Print it out or buy it online from Amazon and use it as a meditation Bible. Every day read no more than 2 or 3 stanzas, morning and evening. Read it again, ponder the meaning, use it in thinking for a while. What does that mean? What does that mean? And then meditate on the I am. Try to find the I am, the way Nisargadatta is describing it. Do that for half an hour to 45 minutes in the morning and in the evening. And during the day, stop and try to find the I am. And when you locate the I am, fixate your attention on it and let it grow over a period of days and weeks and months. Secondly, download a little essay I wrote on called Hunting the I, amended. It's about 4,000 words long, and it talks about the different kinds of self-inquiry, including the one I recommend. Third of all, download Self-Knowledge and Self-Realization by Nisargadatta, where he talks about his early practice of searching for the I am, and it's very devotional. And lastly, download, I guess I sort of like it because it's pithy, others don't, is Consciousness in the Absolute by Nisargadatta. Notice I'm concentrating on Nisargadatta, excluding Robert Adams, excluding Romana, although they're all supplementary, because Nisargadatta is most like Western thinking, and he also talks about 2 levels of self, which causes some confusion when people read his books, because he talks about the I am as being the all, and then he talks about transcending the I am and finding that it's a joke. So for the purposes of what we're using it for, we're using it for the first one, which is self-realization of the conscious self, of the manifest self. But be aware that there's a stage beyond that. But what I want you to get to is the realization of the self, of the human self and the divine as one. So download those 4 books. The Nisargadatta Gita, which is to be read daily, 1, 2, or 3 verses, each in the morning and the evening. Ponder the meaning and then meditate on the I am, trying to find it. Self-Knowledge and Self-Realization, which is about Nisargadatta's devotional introduction to the I am, to Krishna consciousness, as he calls it. The third one is Hunting the I by me, where it talks about various kinds of self-inquiry. And fourthly is Consciousness in the Absolute, or you could take one of the other books by Gene Dunn, like Seeds of Consciousness, where he was talking more and he defines the terms better. But it's a little less powerful as a reading than Consciousness as the Absolute, which can grab you and shake you and hit you over the head with these truths. So those are the supplemental methods that you can use. All of those books, you can just submerge into one discipline, which is finding the I am. And Nisargadatta's books about the I am. And then listen to me, of course. We'll have guided meditations from time to time, and I'll be talking to you from that space so that you get an idea and you can feel my energy and you can sort of awaken that energy inside of you. And then the method of finding the I. Romana talks about it. Matter of fact, there's a post now that I put up just recently on Romana's self-realization experience, which is very simple, very powerful. He was feeling like he was going to die, and he felt a great fear, but rather than running, he decided he was going to act like he was dead, and he laid down, pretended he died. He stopped breathing, laid with his hands crossed on his chest, and said, now the body is dead. They're going to take it to the fire pier and burn it. What about me? And he looked inside and he saw that the body, or the sensation of the body, the experience of the body, was separate from that which was experiencing the body, consciousness. And he said, wow, the body's dead. This was in his imagination. But the full essence, the full power of my beingness, of my essence, of my personality is still flowing forth within me. So though my body may die, this consciousness is absolute. That's flawed logic, but it's from a 16-year-old's experience. And he never looked back, because he said from that point on, every moment of the day, whether he was reading, writing, eating, talking, he was aware of himself, the self inside of himself, the full power of consciousness bursting forth from his body. Consciousness is born of the body, but it is not the body. Nisargadatta talks about this a lot. The body-mind is sort of the source from where consciousness flows and begins, and uses the eyes of the body, the ears of the body, the skin of the body, and the nerves of the body to detect what is apparently external, and gives it existence. If it weren't for the body, you wouldn't be aware of the world. You wouldn't be aware of your body. So the body is essential. But you are not your body. You are that which is aware of the body. And you are that bursting energy that fills the body with life, the life force. You are Shakti. You are also the divine intelligence which knows. You are also love itself, the glue that makes it all hang together. So how do you find the self? If you've never found the self. Or if you've been in Zen for 20 years and there's no self in Zen, and no matter how far you look or how deep you look, you can find no self. All that you find is emptiness, maybe filled with light, filled with energy, but there's no self. Let's do a guided meditation. We're going to find the self if you haven't found it. This is something you play over and over again. This is something you can use to help your meditation. But sitting or lying down, with your imaginary inner eye, look into your body. Look into your chest, look into your stomach, look into your buttocks, look into your legs, look into your feet, look into your hands. What do you see when you look inside? Do you see light or do you see darkness? Do you see space or do you see blackness? Do you see light, or is it just blackness? Keep looking within. Keep looking within. Is there any light anywhere? A little pinprick of light. Blue light, green light, white light. You see light behind your third eye, right here, ajna. If you see light there, concentrate on the light, and over a period of months let it grow larger and larger. Let it spread downwards using your will. Take the light of the third eye and spread it downwards, so it fills the emptiness, your inner emptiness, the imaginal emptiness of your divine intelligence. Let it spread downwards until it sinks even into the ground and upwards into space, so that all of space becomes lighted with your inner light, the light of consciousness. This is the perfect Zen state of shikantaza, of sitting quietly in emptiness and having the light of consciousness everywhere, hearing the birds, hearing the planes going overhead, feeling your body, and everything is filled with light. And it's at this point that some people have the recognition there is no self. The self is nowhere to be found. I cannot find that which is looking for the self. I cannot find the looker. Therefore, that empty space has no self. It has no life. It's non-existent, and I'm free. I'm free of the self. But that's only the first stage. The stage of seeing yourself as emptiness. And a lot of people stop right here, thinking they've achieved emptiness, perfect emptiness, and they talk about it and they write about it, about how much freedom there is in emptiness and how all that there is the emptiness filled with the nowness of beingness, and they've arrived at the gate, awakening. Far from it. Now, instead of just looking inside yourself, while you're looking inside of yourself, feel inside of yourself. Go down to your toes and feel your toes. Feel how your heels touch the floor or the chair. Feel how your calves rest against the fabric of a couch, or the fabric that you have on as pants. Or maybe you don't feel anything. You feel the breeze of naked calves, the chill, the coolness. You feel the little hairs at the bottom of your calf undulating in the breeze, tingling in the breeze. Move your attention upwards, guide your attention upwards into your thighs, into the back of your legs. Can you feel the bone in between? Or do you only feel the muscles? Do the muscles tingle with subtle body energies, or are they lifeless and feel nothing? Can you see inside with an inner vision of the calves? Can you feel the calves? Not the calves, I mean the thighs and the hamstring muscles at the back. Just rest there for a second. Feel, 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 feel. Feel the energies. Feel energy. Moving your attention upwards into the buttocks and into the genitals. What do you feel? Can you feel your buttocks? Other than just resting against the bed or the chair that you're in. Just the contact. Can you feel inside of them? Can you feel the movement of energy inside of them? What about your genitals? Are they pre-orgasmic? Do you feel energy down there? Do you feel a sexual excitement? Do you feel anything? Moving upwards to the root chakra. Do you feel energy there at the bottom of your pelvis? Do you feel an explosion of energy there, the energy rising through the first chakra and upwards into the second chakra below the navel? Do you feel anything? Now, let the energy, let your attention go up to the heart chakra. This is most important. Do you feel anything there? Do you feel energy there? Do you feel movement there? Do you feel Max there? Do you feel Michael there? Do you feel Maggie there? Do you feel John there? Do you feel Ansar there? Or Harold? Or Charlie? Or Ed? Or Dia? Or Faisal? Or Nadine? Does anybody feel the energy there that says, I am? This is the best place, if you don't feel the sense of I am, to look for it. Be aware of little movements of electricity, little movements of energy, little vibrations, which is the first inkling of seeing the self of energy, the sense of presence. Move your attention upwards into your throat, the rest of your chest, into your mouth, into your head. Do you feel energies there too? Is the energies that are you filling this sense of part of you too? Do you feel throughout your whole body, that subtle body, the sense of presence that is you, the I am, spread everywhere within your body? And when you become used to it, it spreads outwards a few inches beyond the body into an energy body about 6 or 8 inches larger than your body. Find the I. Find the I am. Find that which is Michael. That is Max. That is Charlie. That is Ansar. That is John. And just rest there feeling it. Feeling it as a little buzz or as a great sense that fills your whole body and then goes beyond it with energy and your own presence. Concentrating on that arising I am grows into a sense of presence relatively quickly, a matter of months. And then you have your own energetic body separate from your physical body, which is more real to you than the physical body. And you can begin to understand that you are not the body, you are consciousness, you are presence. Within which the body rests. Even though body gave life, gave the consciousness the instrument with which to perceive, including to perceive itself. The self is bigger than the body and contains the body. And thus just rest into yourself. Lie down in an easy chair. Maybe have some background music. Definitely listening to chanting. Kind of chanting we play, Muktananda chanting or Ramdas or Krishna Das chanting in an easy chair. And just be in yourself. Feeling the humming energy of consciousness as Shakti shaking your whole body, turning it into bliss, making it quiver, making it burn, making the ends of your hair stand on end with its quivering bliss. And do this day after day, week after week. Whenever you get a chance, just stop. And in the meantime, every day, practice reading the Nisargadatta Gita, talking about the I am, following the I am. Ponder the meaning, and then in a formal meditation, try to find the I am and abide in there. And here's the next part of the teachings. You just don't watch the I am. You just don't rest in the I am. But you learn to love the I am. But you can't love yourself until you find yourself. So when you feel the I am, however small, greet it with affection. Greet it with love. Greet it with acceptance. Play with it. Play with yourself. Touch the boundaries with your awareness. Do it playfully, lovingly. And if it's not already in your heart, relax your body as much as you can, especially internally. And invite the sense of I am into your heart. Let it take over you. Let it become you. Invite it inside of you. Wonder about all of its properties, whether it changes through time, whether the aspect of burning is there for you or not, whether the aspect of bliss is there for you or not, whether playing with the I am causes you to feel the bliss, causes you to feel ecstasy, causes you to freeze so much in ecstasy, don't want to move because it would ruin the state of pure love. So the more you know the self, the more you can play with it. The more you invite it inside of yourself, the more you can talk about it, the more you can express it, the more and more energy it feels and allows into itself until it's exploding throughout you, or in certain portions it's caught, like in the lower chakras, and it has to work its way up so that it fills up your body and your sense of presence totally. But each person has a sort of different trip, different set of rules, different set of outcomes, but there appears to be a commonality in some students, like with Dia, with Lila, now with Sindria, with Ansar, and others, which is to feel the bliss building up inside. Feel the energy exploding in the lower chakras, or perhaps in the heart or in the head, and not feeling the whole body. But, and I know Charlie also feels this too, a deep love, a deep servitude, deep acceptance, a deep gratefulness of the bliss that one feels and the happiness one feels, and hoping it'll last from minute to minute, and hoping it'll last another day without going away, and just hoping it stays. Hope, hope, hope. And it will stay as long as you love it, as long as you're open to it, as long as you feel it and let it into your heart, entice it, flirt with it, and give it an invitation to come into you by not watching it directly, but looking aside indirectly. Sometimes watching it directly will push it away, but instead relax. Relax your body, your mind, your head, your lips, your mouth, your mind. And just let it take you over. And then comes the emotions, the strong emotions. The deep love that is mind-blowing. The deep anger, which is mind-blowing. The hatred, the jealousies, the paranoias, the strong feelings come. Treat them in the same way. Don't try to bury them. Don't run from them. If the fear of them is there, let the fear become you. Become the fear. Don't fear the fear. As Roosevelt says, the only thing we have is to fear is fear itself. But if we accept the fear into our hearts, it becomes integrated in a few minutes, passes through and becomes bliss. Underneath each strong emotion is a river of bliss, and each time we dip into that river of bliss, we are closer to self-realization. The more we love, the more bliss we feel. Sooner or later, our inner self reveals itself to us as a self, and we become self-realized, which means the self we are as a human being recognizes the self we are as a totality, not split off into being a human being, not split off into being a student or any other story. I'm a Bible thumper, I'm a Catholic, I'm a teacher, I'm a laborer. Any of these kinds of stories that we have are destroyed by the energy, and we realize we're just energies. Love energy, bliss energy, filled with energy, explosive energy. And when we feel that all the time, the self is there. It either reveals itself to you sometime explicitly, or you grow into that feeling of selfness. I am the self. I am that I am. I have become alive. I am the life force. I am sentience. If it weren't for me, the world would not exist. At least the world from this chair would not exist. If it weren't for me, nothing would exist. Let me see if my little thing, there it is. Anyway, that's more or less the totality of the teachings. The self, what it's like, the resources for reading and for meditating, how to do it by finding the self, how to grow the self, and what it's like to feel the self coming out as joy, as energy, as the life force, as Shakti, as blinding energy, which fills you with life. And at the same time, gradually you become aware of a self that's even beyond that, the one that's witnessing the whole thing. But we don't want to bother with that one. That one comes by itself. I want you to find the self of Krishna consciousness, of God consciousness, of Christ consciousness, and to live there in joy and energy and peace, fully able to manifest in the world, return to the marketplace. You and your big brother, the divine, you and your big sister, the divine, are only one. And that one has become self-reflexive. Self has become aware of itself, and you are both of them. There's not two. Okay, let's have a chant now. Now that the energy is filling us, the last Muktananda chant on the left. Narayana, Narayana, Jaya Govinda Hare. 10 minutes. It's the last one on the Muktananda section on the left at the bottom. At the count of 4, press the little button and let that joyful chant radiate through you, come into you. Invite it into you like you would joy, like you would the light, like you would the infinite, like you would God, like you would the self. Use it to practice on opening up and becoming open enough to let something come through you and into you and take you over completely. At the count of 4, Narayana, Narayana, Jaya Govinda Hare. 1, 2, 3, 4.